All right, welcome everyone. Hello, and welcome back to the Seven Figure Seller Summit. And I can't believe today's the last day. Thank you everybody that's tuning in right now. And today is the live closing keynote. And for those of you that don't know, my name is Gary Huang. I'm the host and creator of the Seven Figure Seller Summit. I'm super excited to be broadcasting live with you guys here today. And wow, time flies. I mean, we went through over 20 sessions this week. We covered a ton of information from the mindset, the fundamentals of a seven-figure seller, talking about scaling your business, marketing, branding, profitability, and even talking about exiting and building your business to sell. So I hope it was a ton of value that you guys got from the session. So today I wanted to give you the 80-20 of it. I'm helping you summarize my key takeaways that I personally got from interviewing our speakers. So today we're going to cover the top 10 things that I learned after interviewing 20 plus seven-figure sellers and e-commerce experts. And then there's going to be time for a Q&A at the end. YouTube, on Facebook as well. And then we have viewers from all over the world. So if you can see us and you can hear me, can you please type in the chat window your name and where you're viewing from? So this way I know where you guys are. And then meanwhile, this closing keynote presentation was brought to you by our three awesome sponsors, Ping Pong, PickFu, and India Sourcing Trip. And so thank you all, and more on them later. Okay, so if you guys can see and if you can comment, just so I know. All right, great. Sherry from Australia, welcome. Glad to have you here. All right, so meanwhile, let's just go ahead and get the show started because I know your time is super valuable. I think in Australia it's Saturday morning, so I appreciate you taking time out from your family schedule. Welcome Georgiana from Costa Rica. Hola, it's great to have you. All right. And I think Costa Rica, you guys are in the evening, so I appreciate you taking time out of your Friday night. All right, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so the number one takeaway that I got, the first takeaway is that successful entrepreneurs, they get around excuses. Okay, so during this journey, whether you're an Amazon seller or e-com seller, there's going to be a lot of obstacles and challenges, right? So for example, Chris Davey, the seven-figure seller from day one, he said that it was a pain in the butt for him to deal with EU VAT, like the whole VAT registration, the fees, the money transfers. But on the other hand, this keeps out his competitors. So it means more business for him. Okay, so he got around this excuse. A lot of people would have just given up, thrown in the towel, but he didn't. He got around this excuse. And then similarly, Nick Katz, seven-figure seller based in Japan, he taught us how to sell on Amazon Japan without setting foot in the country or speaking the language. He says that, because Japan's culture and country is so different, a lot of times you might not know how a Japanese kitchen is designed. For example, if you're selling kitchen products, but you can find out on YouTube. I mean, that's the beauty of today's day and age, right? You can, go on YouTube, you can see how a Japanese kitchen is like. It's much smaller, it's designed differently. So there's no excuses for you not to launch or not to build this product, right? So you can get all this information. So there's always a way to get things done. So that's the first takeaway that I got. Successful entrepreneurs, they get around excuses. They don't let them, the low lows bring them down. Okay. The second takeaway is, in this day and age, you have to get off of Amazon to find profitable products. Okay. I mean, the old way of only using research tools doesn't work as well when there's so much more competition now and today. So looking at Amazon, if you're only looking on Amazon alone, that could lead to very saturated niches. Okay. So, but on the other hand, Tim Jordan, a seven-figure seller, shared that he uses sites like Pinterest, like Cratejoy, and these subscription boxes to find profitable product ideas. Okay, and the beauty of this is that you're finding product ideas that people like before they're getting saturated on Amazon. And then also Chris Davey shared that he uses sites like Etsy. He goes on Reddit, like subreddits into his niches. He really digs deep to find out what customers are searching for and to get feedback on his own product designs. Okay. And then after you come up with these product ideas, you don't immediately, source it. You still have to use the research tools like Helium 10, like Jungle Scout to check out the keyword search volume to make your product decisions. Okay, but they're not starting from the same place as everyone else. Because if you start at the same place as everyone else, you end up at the same place as everyone else. So they're getting off of Amazon to find profitable products. Okay, and then also I've noticed that they get off their butts to find products. So they're not just like sitting in front of their computer and typing away on their keyboard all day long. So for example, Nick Katz in Japan says that every time he takes a train to Tokyo, he spots a new product idea. Okay, so get off your butt, get offline, get into the real world. You can find new product ideas that way. And then Tim Jordan also said that he finds endless new product ideas from trade shows like the EU Marketplace and the India sourcing trip. He goes to bazaars. So he finds these ideas offline. Okay, and meanwhile, I'd like to take a moment to thank India Sourcing Trip and Megla for sponsoring. And once away from China, India is one of the best destinations. I've joined this trip myself last year. I found several profitable product ideas that cannot be found on Alibaba, or cannot be found in China. So it's a 1-week tour where you can get a crash course on sourcing from India, visiting Delhi and going to the Delhi fair. And then they will help you fast track your relationship building process. They're going to introduce you to sourcing agents, shipping and logistics experts, and also there's a 1-day e-commerce conference as well. And then I'm going to be there as well. So if you're interested, I highly recommend it. It is an investment, but it will help shortcut this process. Check out indiasourcingtrip.com if you're interested. All right. So that's number 2, get off of Amazon to find profitable products, and then get off your butt. Don't just stay in front of your computer all day long, because that's what everyone else is doing. Okay, you go to these trade fairs, go to these, bazaars, and then you can find new profitable ideas this way. Okay, number 3 is to apply the 80-20 rule to save time and also to increase your profits. Okay, when I interviewed Jason Vandergrint, the 7-figure seller from day one, I was shocked to learn that he's not busy all the time. I said, "Hey, Jason, how's it going? I appreciate it. You taking time out. I know you're super busy." And he said, "No, actually, I'm not busy." Yeah, I was shocked, because even though he runs $1 million business, and he's a one-man operation, he has a team. He shares that he follows the, Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Successful People. And then he says that there's 4 quadrants, and then he cranks out the non-urgent important tasks. Okay, so this way he doesn't give them a chance to get bigger, and this will save him time later. He just takes action on them right away. Okay, so that's one of the keys. 80-20 on the non-urgent important tasks that you have to do. Okay, the second way to apply the 80-20 rule to increase profits is the profit formula that Brandon Dubsky shared. Okay, he said that big profits equals small work times big smarts. Okay, so again, to get big profits, you can have small work, but you need big smarts. Okay, so what does he mean? So Brandon says that he focuses on the smarts, and then the tasks that make him money, and outsource the tasks that are moving money. Okay, so for example, creating videos for his products, and he actually features himself and his family, and he shows customers how to use these products, which help boost his sales and his brand. Right, so he focuses on these types of tasks, and then he outsources the other tasks that are just moving money. Similarly, Alex and Jerry Mills, the 7-figure seller, they focus on launching new products and optimizing PPC campaigns. They're very busy. They have a toddler, but their time is limited, but they focus on these tasks. Okay, they are increasing profits, and then they outsource the rest of their work to free up their time. Okay. So that's number 3, apply the 80-20 rule to save time and increase profits. And I'll also welcome Trish from Melbourne. Great to have you here. Good day. Okay, number 4 is to build a superstar team. Okay, build a superstar team because you can't do it alone. Nate Ginsburg, a seven-figure seller who sold his Amazon business for nearly $1 million, shared that the reason that he could build his business to what it was is because of his superstar team. Okay, so he couldn't do everything himself. So what did he do? He hired for his weaknesses. Okay, so Nate is more of an ideas person and not so much a detail-oriented person. So he hired a team that was detail-oriented to fill in those gaps to make his business stronger. Okay, not only that, your team not only supports you, but you can also learn valuable information from them. So for example, CJ Rosenbaum, he meets with his team every day to learn what's working and what's not working because they're interfacing with the customers, okay? And then also, maintaining a team and motivating them is not easy, because a lot of times they're working remotely, they're in the Philippines, you could be in, Australia or the US, right? So maintaining a strong relationship with your team will help motivate them to perform better. For example, Mike Jackness, he visits his team of virtual assistants in the Philippines every year in person. He spends time with them, he works with them, but they also, they go out, they socialize as well to build up their relationship. So this is true anywhere in the world. And Jason Vandergrint shares that he also visits his team in Europe, and then he even goes to celebrate the birth of their children, which I think is awesome. Because remember, I mean, your team members, they're real people. They're not just like an anonymous, like a drone, right? So definitely, if you can, visit them. And then another nugget that I got was you don't necessarily need to fly to the Philippines. I mean, maybe you're traveling in Asia. If you're in Hong Kong, you can actually fly them up to Hong Kong. And then your team members, most of the time, they're really appreciative. I mean, you may think it's a hassle, but it might be the first time they can visit a cool city or a cool place. So they'll enjoy the experience. So definitely build a relationship so you can have that superstar team to support you. Excuse me. All right, number 5 is to build a brand. Okay, so now in this age, brand building is super important. You can't just, take another Me Too product, source it from Alibaba, and slap a brand, a private label on it. There's more to that. So Chris Davies shares that, his brand is like a roadmap, which helps him decide what products to launch to the market, right? It actually it guides him because everything is cohesive. He has a very tight knit brand portfolio. Dave Huss shares that building a list is like bringing a gun to a knife fight. Think about those old Indiana Jones movies, right? Like the guy, there's like the bad guy, the villain with the sword, and he's like brandishing his swords. And then what does Indiana Jones do? He just takes out his gun and shoots the guy. Game over, right? So if you can build a list like that, you can rank new products on page 1, and you can get reviews in a white hat way. So this is, and it's part of your brand as well. So it's super important that you build in this day and age, you build a brand, and list building is one of the key components of that. And then if you do decide to exit to sell your business, Corin Woodmass, the FBA broker who helps sell his exit for 7-8 figures, he shares that having a type brand of products will get you a higher multiple if you decide to sell your business as well. So these are all of the key benefits of building a brand, beyond just doing a private label product. Okay. The 6th takeaway is keywords for PPC campaigns. You need to balance the data with common sense. Okay. And then I'm guilty of this as well, because I know that many of you are struggling to run profitable PPC campaigns, right? So Stefano Starco, a 7-figure seller and founder of Zon Tools, recommends to focus on keywords. Okay, I'm not going to say the word because I'm going to keep this family safe, but keywords are, keywords are very obvious and make sense when people search for your product, rather than, trying to dilute your budget across less relevant keywords with low conversion rates. Okay, so he says, he calls that the idiot tax. If you're spreading yourself so thin over like hundreds of keywords that are not relevant, you're going to be wasting your money, and you're going to be dragging down your conversion rate at the same time and hurting your ranking. Okay, Dave Ryan, a seven-figure seller, agrees, and he says that he applies the 80-20 rule. He cuts out 80% of the keywords and focuses on just 2 to 3 keywords for his PPC campaigns to get a higher ROI and to increase his profitability. So again, for the PPC, your keywords, you make sure you use common sense. You have to manually go in it because there's no one tool that can do everything for you. And I remember, last year, Taylor Benterud, he shared one really good analogy. It's like you can automate the PPC campaigns, but at the same time, it's like a pilot, right? There is an autopilot, but like the takeoff and landing, and like that fine-tuned calibration, that still requires the human touch. The same applies for PPC. You can't just like automate everything and forget it. So all of the seven-figure sellers that I spoke with, when they monitor and when they optimize PPC campaigns, they still have to go in at least every week to do it themselves. Okay. Number 7. Okay. I love this quote. Whatever gets measured gets managed. Okay. This is a Peter Drucker quote. He's like the business management guru since day one. Okay. Whatever gets measured gets managed. Okay. So for example, Chris Davies products have, he says that you should ask yourself if your product has enough margin for PPC, right? Because if your margins are really thin, you can't really afford to run PPC campaigns unless you're going to go in the red, right? But if you do know your numbers, whatever gets measured gets managed. So if so, then Chris, he can afford to outspend his competition and buy his way to the top. Okay. The key thing is you have to know your numbers. All right. And then Robin Johnson, also, she tightly tracks her conversion rate, right? So you really have to know this. And she pulls her Amazon session reports and studies them on a weekly basis to learn what's working well and what's not, okay? And, this might sound like a lot of work. And there are some ways you can automate this process by using tools such as SentryKit and Seller Board to save you tons of time. Okay, so those are 2 tools that you can use that I recommend as well that I use. And if you're selling internationally, make sure to keep an eye out on your Amazon fees to bring those international sales back home to your home country and back to your home currency. Because I made this mistake when I first started selling internationally, in Amazon EU. I used Amazon's default currency exchange and, money transfer service because it was easy, right? But then at the end of the year, when we were reviewing our books, I discovered that we had spent an extra thousands of dollars in exchange rate and also money transfer service fees from Amazon. I wasted thousands of dollars in exchange rate and transfer fees paid to Amazon. Looking back, I would have used a payment transfer service to lower those fees from 3.9%, what Amazon was charging, to 1% or even lower. And then I like to take this chance to thank our sponsors, Ping Pong. As you scale your business, if you're selling internationally and you need to bring payments back to your home currency, or if you're paying suppliers abroad in China or India, or if you need to pay VAT, for example, Ping Pong offers super competitive rates, and you'll save thousands of dollars compared to using Amazon's own currency exchange and money wire services. And then they're custom tailored for e-commerce sellers. So I highly recommend you check them out at pingpongpayments.com. Okay, pingpongpayments.com. So thank you guys for sponsoring. So this all goes back to the key takeaway. Whatever gets measured gets managed. Okay, so you guys really have to know your numbers. It's super important, and it's also important if you want to sell your business as well. And many sellers have made these mistakes, like they didn't have clear books, and then it was a nightmare when they tried to exit, and then they lost thousands of dollars because they may have missed something where the numbers were not right. So make sure whatever gets measured gets managed. Know your numbers. Okay, number 8. Split test ideas cheaply and quickly. The beauty of this day and age is we have these awesome tools that we didn't have 10 or 20 years ago. Nowadays, when you want to validate a product idea, rather than committing to a purchase order with a Chinese supplier for thousands of dollars and waiting months for it to arrive. You can shortcut this process by testing it. And then Jason Vandergrid, when he tests a new product, he just registers for a domain cheaply on GoDaddy. He builds a simple website, and then he drives about 100 people to that page using Facebook ads to see the conversion rate to validate his idea, whether it's worth pursuing or not. Right. So this will shortcut the process. And then there's another tool that I highly recommend to use to split test your product images, your product copy, and your product designs. And then this tool is PickFu, and they're one of our sponsors as well. And this is one of the tools of the titans that many e-commerce seven-figure sellers like Mike Jackins, Richard Wren, they use to rapidly test their product, their images, the product copy, variations, colors, packaging, and more. And what's cool about it is you can run a poll and get up to 50 replies and comments for $50 in as little as 15 minutes, right? I mean, which is kind of crazy. I mean, if you think about like other tools, they may take weeks to get a significant result, and then you're not getting any feedback, any comments from customers, and you're affecting your sales, if something goes wrong. So this definitely can help you decide based on actual customer data, for example, which color variations to choose, what's the best image or infographic that's going to increase your conversion rate on your Amazon listings, and which type of packaging resonates best with your audience, so you can have a better unboxing experience and better reviews before having to commit to placing an order for thousands of dollars. PickFu is offering a discount for running your first poll, and then you can check out the link below the video on our landing page, pickfu.com. All right, and then in addition, for those of you that have the All Access Pass 7-Figure Seller Summit, you guys will get a 3-month professional subscription, 3-month professional subscription worth $250 value. So that will definitely help shortcut your product development, optimize your listings, increase your conversion rates, right? So split test ideas cheaply and quickly using the tools we have today. This wasn't possible even like 5 or 10 years ago. Okay. Number 9, focus on the bottom line, not on the top line. Okay. Anna Hill, who's a CPA, she specializes in helping e-commerce sellers with their accounting, says that the biggest mistakes sellers can make is trying to grow their business only by increasing sales, or only trying to increase the top line, because top line revenue doesn't necessarily mean that you're profitable. So some 7-figure sellers she works with are actually in the red. They're not making any profits, but they're actually taking a loss, even though they're selling over $1 million a year. So you want to know your numbers, okay? And then Brandon Dubsky, he agrees. He reviews his profitability dashboard every day. This way, he knows exactly how much profit is made in every transaction. And then also, this way he can understand the product life cycle, as the data will tell him if a product is shifting, if it's like an early product, if it's, a growing product, or if it's a mature product, or maybe it's declining. This is one of the key mistakes that he actually made with his previous business, because at that time he was doing so well on eBay, he was so focused on growth. Then the Chinese sellers came in, and then they undercut the price, and then they snatched a lot of the market share away from him. At that time, he was not as fine-tuned on the bottom line. So that's one of the key lessons that he learned. Okay, Nate Ginsburg, however, shared that the 80-20 rule does not apply here. Okay, so you cannot 80-20 this, because he recommends hiring a bookkeeper. It can be part-time, to track your financials and to put together a profit and loss and a balance sheet. Okay, so this is something that you shouldn't 80-20. All right. And then Dave Bryan also shares that when he sold his business, the business value is based on the profits, not the revenue. Okay, so that's why you should focus on the bottom line, not on the top line. And then number 10, selling a business. How many of you guys are interested in selling a business? I'm curious. If you are, let me know in the chat box. Okay, because for some people, the end game is to exit, right? Other people may just want to have a lifestyle, like a cash flow business. But if you do want to sell your business, I learned some key takeaways from our 4 speakers on day 5. Okay, one is right now there's an abundance of Amazon business on the market, according to Corin Woodmass. Okay, he's an FBA broker. He works with a number of 7 to 8 figure e-commerce business owners. And then he says right now there's only a 23% sell-through rate, 23%. This means that only 1 out of 4 business listed will sell. Okay, there's more sellers than buyers. It's actually a buyer's market right now. So what can you do to increase your chances of being one of those 4 that can successfully sell your business and to get a higher multiple so you can get a higher selling price, right? 4 key things that I like to share with you. Okay, number 1 is brand. You need to have a tightly focused brand of products that works together. Okay, not just one hero product, that's like killing it, and then just some other products that are just like treading water, right? You need to have a tightly focused brand of products. Buyers like this. Okay, number 2, you want to have net profit margins of 30% or higher. Okay, number 3, you need to diversify your sales away from Amazon. And then by diversifying, it's not just having a Shopify store, you need at least 30% revenue. So it's less risky from the buyer's side. Okay, so this is one key thing. I mean, a lot of sellers, they just throw up a Shopify store and say, oh, I'm selling on Shopify. No, I mean, buyers are smarter than that. You need to have at least 30% of your revenues coming from another source. Okay, and then finally, give them something they can improve. Share this with me. He says, maybe there's a chance that, you already have this new product in the pipeline. You were not able to launch it because you didn't have the time or you didn't have the cash flow, right? But this buyer, when he comes in, he's more cash rich. He can go ahead and launch that. He can add another 6 figures to your sales, to his sales. So give them some upside, give them something to improve. Okay, so it is. If you're thinking about selling a business, you need to be smart to get a higher multiple, because right now it is a buyer's market, 23% sell-through rate. Okay, and then besides these top 10 takeaways, I always love the quotes. A smart man or woman learns from their mistakes. A wise man or woman learns from the mistakes of others, right? And then that's why I feel the 7-figure seller summit is so valuable, is because we can learn from the mistakes of these super successful people. I mean, nobody had like a clear path with no stumbling blocks, right? The number 1 mistake that I thought was key for many sellers, and then this affects my business as well, is going out of stock. Okay, Nate Ginsburg says that not only will going out of stock lose money in your business, it also affects your selling price. Okay, let's think about it. If you go out of stock, you're losing, several months of sales. That could be tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars. It also affects your selling price because you're losing on profits as well. Okay. John Cavendish recommends that, in order to scale in Amazon EU, just keep your product in stock and you'll get there, sooner or later. So don't go out of stock. And then the other key mistake that I think a lot of sellers are making is ignoring cash flow. Okay, Rob Tibraki, he shared that cash flow is more important than sales, because if you run out of money, your business will die, even if sales are improving. Okay, because ultimately an e-commerce physical product business and Amazon business is an inventory business. So you really have to watch your cash flow carefully. And then Rob gave a great session about how you can manage and improve your cash flow in various ways, even without taking on loans or debt. Okay. And then finally, in addition, one of the key ways that these sellers stay ahead, I always ask them, what do you do to stay ahead of the game, right? They surround themselves with a community of entrepreneurs. Okay, whether it's for networking, like Richard Wren, I see him at a lot of the conferences that we go to. He's a 7-figure seller, but he's still networking with other people to learn from them, to get motivated. building relationships as well. And also for learning, Chris Davies said that he's an avid learner. He just has like a wealth of knowledge. Sometimes you don't even realize it, right? He shared in his session that when he was in Boston, he went to a bar, and then some Silicon Valley big wig was talking with him, and then they were really impressed with the wealth of knowledge. And then Chris, like he learns so much when he goes to these conferences. I see him at the Global Sources Summit. I've seen him all over the world. He's always learning. So that's one of the key ways to stay ahead. And then also having support from other entrepreneurs in online chat groups, for example. Dave Ryan said that he has a very good group of other e-com sellers that he can bounce ideas off of and support each other, and also for accountability. So this can be online, it can be offline, but if you can't travel, if you can't go to these physical conferences, the next best thing is the 7-Figure Seller Summit. And then we do offer an all access pass as well, because we covered a lot today, but this is only the tip of the iceberg. If you missed any of the sessions, you can upgrade to the all access pass, and you get lifetime access. And you can, to all of the 20 plus expert sessions. And then we also have them in MP3 in audio format, right? So this way you can listen to them on the go, whether you're commuting or you're working out at the gym. And then we also secured some special deals and discounts from our partners worth thousands of dollars, and you can get exclusive access to our 7-Figure Seller Summit Mastermind community. We have a private Facebook group. You can get questions answered. I'm in there. Some of our speakers are in there as well. And then we also have PDF action guides. So if you're more of like a visual person, you can quickly scan through these action guides to learn about these sessions. And then we'll also have a follow-up members only VIP Q&A with myself, a private webinar to help you answer any questions and get you through any roadblocks on your journey to 7-figure. So if you haven't already upgraded, now is your chance. 7figuresellersummit.com. All right, now let's take some questions. If you have any questions viewing right now, please type your name and your question in the chat box. I would love to answer any questions when you guys are here today. And then meanwhile, I also like to thank our speakers. You guys are amazing. I'm just super grateful for that you guys spoke, and also I'm impressed by all of the knowledge bombs and all of the nuggets and the insights, and also the mistakes that you guys share. And it's just refreshing to get a real perspective from people that are actually doing it and building their business. So thank you, Tim Jordan, CJ Rosenbaum, Rahul Chavla, Stefano Starkill, Mike Jackness, Nick Katz, Dave Bryant, Brandon Dubsky, Chris Davey, Gaston Liang, Alex and Jerry Mills, Jason Vandergrint, Richard Wren, Mike Michelini, John Cavendish, Corin Woodmass, Justin Chen, John Lawson, Robin Johnson, Anna Hill, Nate Ginsburg, Dave Huss, Matt Singers, and Rob Tabraki. Thank you so much, guys. You guys are amazing. I'm sure our audience appreciate it as well. If you guys have any questions, please type them in the chat box so we can review them live online. Okay. And also, I think one of the other things that is really cool about the summit is, I asked for some book recommendations as well. So, if you are an avid reader or like a book nerd like me, here are a couple of books that came up several times that I'd like to share with you guys if you're interested. One of the books is Profit First. Okay, Profit First talks about financials for your e-commerce business. I think one of the key takeaways was that you should pay yourself starting from day one, like a proportion. Okay. The second book that this was recommended by Rob Tabraki, Dave Ryan as well. Another book that was recommended several times is Story Branding. CJ Rosenbaum recommended this book, and as well as some of the others. So that helps you create the brand story for your audience. Okay. The third one is rocket fuel. Rocket fuel. Okay, Tim Jordan and some of the other speakers recommended this as well. This helps you learn about what type of leader you are. Okay, it's very relevant if you're a 7-figure seller. And then finally, Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. John Lawson and several of the other speakers recommended that as well. So I hope that these books are helpful to you as well, because a lot of times, these sellers, one of the common traits is they're not just listening to Amazon podcasts all day long. They're not just, in Amazon Facebook all day long. They learn about general business. They go to other events. Robin Johnson, for example, she goes to like social media conferences, because they're like 5 years ahead of the game when compared to Amazon. That's why it's so important that you need to you need to educate yourselves, like myself included, So that's why I think these books are super important, because you're taking these tactics, these like strategies from other industries, and you can implement them into your business, and then you have an advantage because very few people are doing this. Okay. Next, I like to thank my team for helping to make this awesome summit happen. Thank you, Josephine. Thank you, Milan. Thank you, Hazel, for your hard work. You did a really amazing job, guys. I couldn't have done it without you, and I really appreciate it. All right. Also, I like to thank my beautiful wife, Deborah, for supporting me and taking care of our 14-month-old son, Harrison, during the past couple months. And heavy lifting, babe. I appreciate your support. I love you. So thank you. Thank you for making this happen. And then finally, I like to thank all of the viewers for coming today. I mean, this is kind of like the end, or to be continued until the next episode. It's not the end. I mean, we have the community. We're still supporting each other, which is awesome. So I thank everybody for watching, whether you're watching live or you're watching the replay. Just remember Jim Rohn's quote: "You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with." Okay, so I hope that we've helped surround you with the right e-commerce entrepreneurs, so you can learn from them, you can absorb their mentality, their mindsets, their tactics, learn from their mistakes as well, so you can implement this to scale your own business to 7 figures. Remember, if you missed any of the sessions, by upgrading to the All Access Pass, you will spend time with 20+ 7-figure sellers and e-commerce entrepreneurs, and you get lifetime access. Okay, so 7-figure sellers, 7figuresellersummit.com. Okay, thank you again. Our sponsors, again, Ping Pong for international payment, save money. Pick Food to quickly split test your product images, variations, designs. I think it's super useful. I use it myself. 50 results from 50 people, 50 results in 15 minutes for $50. I mean, you can't beat that. And also India sourcing trip, I will be there. I hope you guys can take up this opportunity as well. Okay. And if no other questions, thank you so much, guys, for coming. It's been an honor to be with you guys. I spent like months doing this. I hope it's helpful for you. And, I traveled, if you look at the recordings, I traveled through I think 4 different countries recording all the sessions, from the US to China, Shanghai, and I was in Bangkok, I was in Chiang Mai, and now we're in Da Nang, Vietnam, and it was also awesome to get to meet a lot of the community as well. So thank you so much. All right, so again, good luck to everybody on your journey to seven figures. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. All right, thanks and good luck, everyone. Take care. Bye-bye.